GM everyone, welcome back to another episode of Touch Base Weekly. The whole gang is back together now. First of all, happy all-time highs. Bitcoin just hit 124.5K or something last night. That's pretty surreal, and ETH is also going to hit probably a new all-time high today or this week. So the vibes are immaculate. Timeline is, I mean, I don't know if they're celebrating or coping, but it's a good day in crypto. Everyone is talking about crypto. I don't know if this is the top, but Bitcoin just hit a new all-time high. So there's that. And yeah, this week is particularly special for us covering base because base just turned two. I don't know if you guys know that. Let me just share some awesome before we get into our usual metrics and stuff. Uh, some of the metrics for base over the last couple of years. Pretty incredible, right? One of the biggest exchanges launches an L2, and it has been one of the biggest success for them, and which even they didn't expect, right, in the initial days. And right now it is doing, I don't know, like 20x in transactions, fees, insane improvements on the fees side, execution side, users skyrocketed, and TVL, we just talked about that. It hit a new all-time high as well, around $5 billion. So it's pretty surreal how what Base has accomplished over the last couple of years, attracting uh, so many awesome builders and also like creating narratives that didn't exist before and driving those narratives, like creator coins, content coins, and being an integral part of this Ethereum ecosystem. And super surreal to see what only 2 years has done for these guys. But I know, like in the initial, like I was kind of that skeptical about it, but kind of seeing the vision right now and super excited for that. Uh, all right, let's just go over some of the metrics. As I said before, like TVL reached a new all-time high around 4.95 billion, 9.5 billion. I just expect this to keep going up because I just think that with Ethereum making new all-time highs, the capital will flow into ETH ecosystems, and Base being one of the premier ones, I think we will see like an on-chain season happening there. So watch out for the low caps will reprice very higher, and we just need Ethereum to cool off a bit. So I think all the adjacent aligned ecosystems will benefit. But yeah, super cool to see the TVL keep increasing week on week. I think this was, I don't know, 4.7 or 8 billion since we started. So pretty cool to see. And another interesting, I mean, the flagship kind of, you can say, one of the biggest protocols on Base, Virtuals. Uh, they have said that it's now live on Base and you can using the retail decks. So I mean, it should have been done a long time ago. Uh, but yeah, it's super cool to see it's finally happening. And yeah, always. I mean, Virtuals has lost a bit of steam because the agents meta is a little kind of slow right now. But this is pretty cool to see. And yeah, another thing I think Rumi and Rashid were talking about this RWA kind of narrative, and uh, like I was surprised to see that Base is now like the third biggest chain supporting RWA assets, and which is at 57.5 million, which is not that high in terms of growth, but they have done it in the like less span, so that is pretty cool to see. But I still think that there are other chains like that you wouldn't guess, like Stellar. They have around 500 million in assets. So RWA is pretty unique in how these are classified because some of them funds are TradeFi funds deploying on chain, and I mean there's a whole different classification for it. But yeah, Base is slowly getting up there in terms of RWA league. But yeah, and another thing I think Rachit wants can add on to this as well. How we chatted with Avi from Hire. They recently uh, added base season is here, and any tokens can be traded on their mobile app. And so I mean, pretty cool. Like I think we'll see more people using these as base season heats up. But We just need that spark coming on for on-chain gems. But yeah, Rachit, I think you met the founder recently. Uh, what are your thoughts like on Hire and in general? You're chatting with Avi.
Yeah, I was on a panel with Kwa. I didn't know Kwa was Vietnamese, so he was at the Vietnamese conference I was at. So we chatted for a bit. We were on a panel together. Yeah, those guys are really, really pushing like the perp decks and this model, which I think is really interesting. KG, do you want to go back to the TVL slide? Like, I think I have a couple things to add there. I think, one thing that I've been noticing is I actually don't think the TVL metric is that bullish because if you look at the chart, it's like just replicating ETH price action for an ecosystem that's predominantly based in Ethereum. It just makes sense for them to just have traction in ETH and like TVL goes up with price. So I actually don't think this is that bullish. What I do think is bullish is how, I think Miles tweeted this out, but like only 1% of the Coinbase app has direct access to DeFi on Base. And they'll slowly roll it out. So I think that will be a bigger indicator. But yeah, in terms of TVL, I didn't think this was bullish. I thought it was like a natural extension for sure.
KG, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, even Jesse says that yeah, it's rolled out to only 1% of the customers, and it's pretty cool. Like, we talked about Aerodrome last week, and they've been doing insane volumes, and we can just see that yesterday, a couple of days back, Base hit more than 2 billion in volume. And I think this will keep going up as each season heats up, and I don't, because I think this is just very still early days, like not early, but I think that once their on-chain stuff pops off, this will like go crazy because Solana does like tens of billions every day, right? So compared to that, this is still not there yet, but pretty cool to see that a new kind of milestone has been hit. And yeah, another thing like I don't know if we will be using this, but one of the requested features is being able to send USDC for on the apps and stuff. So we'll finally do that. It's basically for New York residents. I don't know if that was available before, but it is now. Yeah, I think this doesn't affect most of us, but that's an update for you guys.
It
And
was weird that it was not available in New York, but now it is. So it's like good that you covered that area also. But I'm more excited about this thing, stablecoin fund. And what do you think about this, KG?
yeah, I think how about like they are uh, like it's important to have deep liquidity and they are bootstrapping this basically with like the premier protocols like Aave, Morpho, Kameno, and Jupiter. So it'll be interesting to see, right? Like it'll help a lot of the protocols that is launching and they can tap into this large liquidity. Uh, but yeah, I think the liquidity is already deep on base, I feel, at least on the stablecoin side. But yeah, this is just another kind of addition to that. Uh, what else? Yeah,
I feel
well
like
capital.
along
Yeah,
with
go ahead.
like the previous one as well, I feel there's this another aspect that nobody has ever addressed. That's like they do not have a own coin, so they treat USDT USDC as their own coin, and like the liquidity has always been good, but now that they're supplementing it to the developers, also they're supplementing it in USDC, which anyway everyone feels like already has a little bit of better value, like obviously a better value because it's a stable coin as compared to any other token that they might have to invest in. So that changes it like a lot from outsider perspective, because you can just start playing around base with like a coin that you want to hold for a while, because it's not restrictive to outside audience because stable coins are easy. In fact, my dad was telling me about a stable coin today, and he saw it from like some Facebook video or something. So I think that is cool.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think stablecoin race. I mean, we have seen Stripe and them launching a new chain called Tempo or something with Paradigm. and Matt Wong is now the CEO for them. So like this whole stablecoin race will keep accelerating. There's no stopping it. And yeah, I think one of the beneficiaries will be Coinbase, because uh, because of the distribution they have, and also direct flow into the on-chain side of things. Another update regarding Velvet is they are also building on Base. Velvet is, we have talked about this earlier, managing your portfolio with the help of AI agents. So they are now live on Base. Uh, yeah, that's it from our like updates standpoint. Anything that catches your eye before we talk about our usual Zora chatter?
I'm just
No,
excited with Ansem coming to Ansem showing Zora. Oh, sorry, Yashika, go ahead.
no, I wanted to chat a little bit about there's like two creator funds also, and that ties up to Zora again. But they're giving out money, and we saw that yesterday there was another thing that popped off around this creator getting $10,000 to create an arbitrum, which is like not super popular. So creator funds are up. Every creator is making money on base. Ansem is also here. I just don't know where the money is coming from, even though like Zora
Yeah,
is ranking 58 on the socials app, which I'm assuming is allowing a lot of people who are non-crypto, like traditionally, are like coming into the app. But if they come into the app, I assume they would like to post in the app and launch their own creator coin, not like buy up everything and boost liquidity. So yeah, I just want to understand a little bit where is the money coming from, and like how is
yeah. So
everything up.
what's funny is like you mentioned Ansem and everyone joining. That pretty much marked the top. uh, right? Like because and I know like how even I haven't looked at this chart, I haven't been watching it, but I kind of knew that once all these big guys talk about Zora, it'll kind of that's like the max attention you can get, right? Like what's bigger than Vitalik, Ansem, and some other people with almost million followers saying they're gonna start creating on Zora. That kind of piques your attention, and whenever something is there's nothing bigger to look forward to, I think coins stop at that time. But yeah, I'm still bullish on Zora, but there's like a small correction that's happening here. Uh, but yeah, another like bigger thing is how uh, people are betting on ETH betas. Like what like the best all to own when Ethereum is going parabolic. Many are thinking because Zora is one of them, but and Ansem here says that Coinbase has 100 million retail users, and uh, you know them basically enabling that for everyone from their app with the text will just enable coins like Zora to get more retail bid, I believe, and institutional bid. But that's not here yet. But yeah, that's just one of the things. Another thing like I really wanted to chat about, which I was super, you know, this on Zora, there are like over 20 coins that have market cap over 1 million, 50 above 500K, and 500 above 100K. Uh, and to put things into context, this person says like in the first 2 weeks, they didn't even have 5 coins over 100. So, which is kind of crazy to say, see, uh, but yeah, I mean, this is also like what I was expecting, right? You need to have that peak mania stuff. You need some of these coins to hit 100, 200 million. We haven't seen that yet. I think most of these coins are down only since we last talked about. Uh, but yeah, Rashid, you were mentioning about like a creator fund for these coins. Uh,
So what I was saying was, you remember back, so like DAOs.Fun, you remember that AI fund thing that happened where it was just buying up like virtuals tokens? Uh, I'm yet to see, like, I know people have talked about it, but I don't think there's like one consolidated DAO. And that's probably because there's not a DAOs.Fun on base. I think what would be really interesting, and KJ, if you're actually into doing this, like maybe we try. but like we run a DAOs.fun. Like we launch a proper DAO, we launch it on Solana, and with the intention of buying like base assets or like base creator coins. Because I think like I've also thought about, like I've looked at it and I've thought about buying these creator coins, but the biggest problem that I have is the market cap's not big enough. And I don't understand how these are valued. Like I'd rather, like, I think conceptually as a trader, I'd rather put money into a meme coin that I understand how the game is played. I don't think a lot of people understand how the creator coin game is played and what sort of motivates the price and what goes down, right? Like for a meme coin, it's so easy. Like, okay, I'm just talking about this current cycle. Like, okay, if Frank is talking about this meme coin, that's probably the top. It's time to sell. If you see Aiden Ross live stream and Frank's in the back with a phone, it's time to sell. Like, I just don't know what that is for creator coins right now. Like, it's just uncharted territory. And as someone who trades, um, I just don't feel comfortable right now. Like, I just don't understand
Yeah.
it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think like that's also where the opportunity lies, right? Like if masses or no 90% or 99% of the people don't even understand what's
No,
happening
and
and
that's
you
what I'm
kind
saying.
of
Which is why, if okay, so the thesis then becomes, if there was a beta where it's like, okay, this is a DAO that essentially buys these assets, and that's the entire DAOs.fun theory, right? Like, it's essentially a DAO where people contribute money and it basically manages itself. I think as a trader, I'd be a lot more comfortable investing into that, which is why I think even if this DAO is on Solana and it's a Solana token, it'll still do well. And the fact that Solana assets are moving from Solana to base, I think the base ecosystem would support it as well. And then you can use like, I don't know, like you can use Wormhole to bridge it over to base, whatever. But that's how I think about it. And I think I it's weird that this hasn't popped up yet. I know AJC has been talking about it on the timeline, but I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. Like, do you remember? Okay, look at the tweet below where he talks about the friend tech DAO version of this. Like, I would have assumed people would just run this back and create like a similar framework. Um, yeah.
I have a question on this. Do you want a DAO just cause like to make it accessible to Solana people? Because essentially speaking, if you buy up Zora, you are investing on the creator coins itself because all of it just links to Zora. So why do you need a separate DAO for it? And anyone on Solana can also come up and buy Zora. It's just like solved with the main coin like that.
No, I think that's interesting, but the alpha lies in the opportunity of being selective, right? Like Zora as a token must the flywheel is impartial to everything, right? Um, and wait, KG, let me share a screen real quick. Mm, all right. If you look at Wormhole scan, um, like if you look at number of transfers from Solana to base in the last 365 days, the Solana ecosystem is very, very interested in base opportunities as well. Be it virtuals or the base app and everything here. So I think there's definitely a market where if there's a base beta on Solana where it's like a DAO token to buy up these creator coins, I think it'll do well. I think it'll also trade at multiples, similar to how it was during AI season as well. That's what I think, and I think KG, maybe we can pull this off. I don't know. What do you think about it?
yeah, I think like it's just about getting like a structural bid on these coins, right? Like who's actually like like so many of the memes you see on timeline, you need a group of people who will never sell. You know, that's how VIF, it went through 70, 80, 90% corrections 5 times, I think. But people didn't sell, right? Like, that's why it went back up and hit 5 billion. Uh, but people speculating over these, they don't believe in what's happening, right? Like, that's one of the drawbacks I feel like they don't know what they're buying. And uh, they don't know how it can galvanize a group of people around it and that kind of community feeling around it. That's why I think like these probably will not go to any insane market cap ever, but they can do consistent volume and give the creator good rewards. And right, it just depends on what they're putting out and what how they're you know doing stuff like with their content and everything and what they're posting. But I don't think these will ever hit like insane market cap. Uh, but yeah, I think another thing like I wanted to share regarding Zora. I think this makes a little kind of sense, and this uh, Jacob put out
I thought
this.
this was beautiful. I think
Yeah,
Jacob's graphic game is just insane. Like, honestly, like I'll be very honest. Like I saw this and I shared this in our wormhole chat, and I was like, we need to do more stuff like this. Like, this was beautifully curated. I think the graphic where he also did the monetization to tokenization, like the sort of flywheel graphics that he's been making, I think they're really really good, and this was really really good. Too. I was really happy to see this.
yeah. It also sends a good message, right? Like monetize means getting money out of a thing. Tokenize means anything becoming money. Um, I mean, that's a good kind of uh, bar right there. Yeah, this is just one of the things I wanted to share. Also, Vitalik Gar, I don't know if I've said this before. Vitalik is now on board. This is a good kind of back and forth between Jacob and Vitalik. He's talking about how compatibility with Ethereum regarding wallets, and I also think he mentioned privacy and stuff like that. But he's now, I think he's now using it, but I don't know. I've said this in our Telegram group. Like an easy, good way to make money on these is being early to these creator coins, and whenever they launch, uh, be there, and you can kind of get good opportunities to buy into these popular
So,
names. Yeah.
is it the same Frentech thesis? Like, is that how you're trading it? Like how you were trading keys back in the day? KG.
Yeah, I think it's similar to that. Not exactly. Uh, I think those, they're like you can just flip consistently. This is more like a coin thing, right? That is more. Uh, I don't know, like it just feels still very early. Not that many people are trading it. Even I'm not that active. I've been active like 3 to 4 weeks back, but not right now because there's not been that much volume. I think it'll again rise up with the token doing well again. Uh, but yeah, uh, that's it from my side. Do you have anything else to chat about regarding Zora?
No, I think that's interesting. I think what we need to do is we need to start bringing on creators who've created their tickers, and then we need to start talking to them about the experience and how is it different from Frentech back in the day. I think that's the kind of things that I want to hear more. I think one thing that I also want to see is a lot of, and this is something that base hasn't done a lot of, which I'd like to see more of, is creator token hygiene. Like there should be a lot of guides or documentation or some sort of resource where if you're a creator who's never launched a token before, this is how a typical flywheel looks like. This is what you can do to maintain good token hygiene. I think that's like the next step where I would love to see Jesse or Jacob talk about that. I think maybe that's also that maybe that's like an article idea that all three of us can write as well. Right? Like, this is like basic token hygiene, like using noise for tipping probably, or I don't know, like airdropping to holders or whoever's buying. Like there's the flywheel that's set, but there's so much more that you can do with your token, and this is how you should maximize as a creator. I think that's a really good advisory business as well. Like me and Gage just getting like 20 bips to help a creator with their token. I think it's interesting. Um, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
next steps, like let's get more creators on and let's have them talk about their tokens and what they're sort of trying to achieve. Um,
100%.
yeah, I think this is really bullish. And I'd love to get more DeFi projects on as well. I think we keep on talking about the Zora flywheel. I want to see more DeFi stuff on here too.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's it from our side. I mean, it's an all-time high week, but it's been a little calmer than usual. Hope you guys enjoyed this. There are so many builder segments that we have for this episode. Hope you like them as well. But yeah, thank you guys. See you next week. Peace.
GM everyone. Today we have Grammyboy with us, who is working on a stablecoin oracle provider for Nigerian stablecoins. And over to you, Grammy. Uh, can you just start up with a little bit of intro and about the company and like how did you become the oracle provider for Nigerian stablecoins?
Yeah, GM, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. And uh, it's really nice doing this. I thought Rashid was going to be here, but since he's not here, I believe I'm in good hands. Shout out to him. He has been a very good friend, and we've been in touch ever since uh, we, uh, you know, ever since I got to know him through the recently concluded base the recently concluded incubase, right? So yes, IFA Labs is essentially a price oracle infrastructure for local stablecoins in emerging markets and other financial instruments as well. It's not just stablecoins, but stablecoin being uh, 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 one of our major offerings, and lately stablecoin has been there has been a lot of there has been a lot of attractions around stablecoins, and a lot of businesses, a lot of products are starting to integrate stablecoins into their offering. It's starting to gain lots of tractions and adoption around the world, including the emerging markets, right? So um, I saw a critical gap in the space, which, you know, I felt like I should solve this problem. And what I mean by the critical gap. So, usually when I want to talk about IFA Labs, I tend to tell a little story about how I came across or how I came by the whole idea of the infrastructure itself. So, sometimes late last year and stroke early this year, I, I had an idea to build out a consumer focused product, right? So along the line while building it, I got stuck at some point, and I realized that there was a missing infrastructure, which is essentially critical to what I'm building, right? So I felt like, okay, after a couple of research, trying to find out if there's any other company out there that offers this same service, this Oracle service, especially for uh, local stablecoins in emerging markets, I realized that there's none, right? I checked out Chainlink, I checked out Pies, I checked out a couple of other on-chain Oracle out there, and I realized that none of this none of these infrastructures supports stablecoins in emerging markets, right? And this is a huge problem because uh, how else do you want adoption? How do you want people? How do you want products? How do you want businesses to adopt stablecoins in emerging markets if we do not have uh, you know Oracle infrastructure to power them, right? So I decided to like dig deeper into the problem, and I realized that the requirements for most of the on-chain oracles to support this local stablecoins in emerging markets are almost unrealistic, right? So it's a scenario of imagine you are building a local stablecoin and Chainlink is asking you to have at least $3 million in trading volume, and there's some other requirements. I mean, how are you supposed to get that if you're just emerging? It's almost impossible, right? But it is what it is. That's their requirements, and they wouldn't go below that for anybody, right? So I felt like, okay, to solve this problem, why not just build an Oracle infrastructure that combats this particular problem? Because along the line, I found out that I wasn't the only one facing these issues, right? There are other builders out there that, they also need access to things like this. So initially, I felt like I was going to just build it natively for the product I'm working on. But then along the line, I just felt, okay, let me just make it open source. Let me make it open to everybody, just so that everyone can also have access to it, and it's no longer going to be a native Oracle for my consumer focused product. So that's like the whole backstory to how the Oracle came into existence. So fast forward. Uh, like I said, IFA Labs is a price oracle infrastructure that powers, uh, you know, stable coins in emerging markets. And moving forward, we're also going to support other popular cryptocurrencies, right? So it's not just going to be limited to local stable coins in emerging markets, right? So yeah, that's
I mean, I also wish to understand a little bit on the side of what makes the Nigerian stablecoin market a
okay.
little different than others, and why is there such a strong demand for it right now?
Okay, cool. So first off, I'm from Nigeria, right? And while I was talking to local stablecoin issuers, I spoke to, by virtue of being Nigerian, it was pretty much easy for me to access the Nigerian local stablecoin issuers, right? So aside from Nigeria, I've also spoken to the Brazilian stablecoin issuers as well, right? So we are starting with Nigeria because they've been supportive, right? Because right from the inception of the whole Oracle, building the Oracle from ground, they've been supportive financially, and we've also like had to they've had to test out our products. We've had a couple of meetings with their team, and generally overall they've been really supportive. And to answer your question about why the need for an oracle right now, right? So I documented a couple of statistics here before the meeting. I'm just gonna put it out there. So as of today, the total CNGN in circulation as of today is around 600 million CNGN, right? And we have about 651 orders, and the 24 hours traded volume is 1 billion. That's quite huge, right? Yeah. So overall traded volume is 13.7 billion. So that shows you, that gives you a glimpse of how CNGN is growing. Yeah, the adoption is gaining very good traction. So in as much as all these values are there, in as much as all these values are big, right? It's not just about the value. The fact still remains that is still limited to some certain people. Not everybody has access to CNGN easily right now. It's not, I can't just wake up and say, oh, I need CNGN, and I would just go somewhere and just get the CNGN. It's not as easy as that. right? It's still there's still some sort of limitations to getting CNG, right? So, and one of the reason is because the infrastructures that will essentially power the adoption, they're still they 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 are not in place yet. So that's one of the reason for the oracle itself. With the oracle, the price oracle, it will be easy for products, for builders, for developers, for protocols, for businesses to adopt CNG and the Naira stablecoin. So yeah, I think that's the reason for it, and it has to be now.
I appreciate that. And now that I've understood like a little bit, and especially the numbers speak for themselves, they're huge.
Yeah,
So there's definitely huge demand and huge like circulation that's happening. Hopefully
yes.
it grows more.
Mm.
But then what are your challenges? Like what challenge do you face as an Oracle provider? Is it mostly technical right now, or is there like these are problems from regulatory? Because I'm not assuming adoption related problems to be the primary thing in the region because the numbers were so nice. Like,
Yes.
yeah, so it's like, what challenges are there? Or like, am I missing something? Is there a new challenge that's coming up to you? Yeah.
Yeah, so the fact that we're just new in the market, we're just building out this infrastructure, is definitely gonna take a while uh for protocols, builders, developers, project and businesses to adopt our technology, right? We need uh we need launch partners, the big guys that would, use our products to, you know, give other people the confidence in what we are building, right? So right now we are doing more of uh, poaching businesses to come and use our infrastructure, poaching developers, builders. Very soon we are planning to host a buildathon, an hackathon, to invite uh, builders to come and build on IFA Labs, um, you know, infrastructure, integrate our price infrastructure into whatever they're building, just to get the traction. So I would say one of the major challenge we are having right now is, and for the fact that, a lot of people don't know about it yet, so we are also like trying to be out there just so that people would know that, okay, there's a solution to this problem already, right? And lastly, we are also at that stage where we are raising funding. Funding is equally one of the issues right now, but I mean, we are surviving. But, for you to expand across borders, because essentially the way Oracle works is, um, you have to provide that service. It has to, whether or not you have users, as long as you have one user that is using it, you have to keep providing the services. So it's almost like the same money you are going to spend to deliver your service to one user is what you spend to deliver to 100 users, right? So regardless of the number of users you have, you still need to spend money, right? So financing uh, is also one of the problems we are facing right now. But yeah,
Interesting. In fact, we had a chat before this today with the based East Africa lead, and one of the primary highlights across the problems that usually builders face in Africa was around fundraising, and his primary goal was also to get funds to be available to more and more builders so that
yeah,
they can scale their projects, because these are not he was not talking about builders who are like starting out yesterday or like starting out today. These are builders
right.
who have already scaled to like say 1,000 people or 1,000 users. So they're
Mm,
proving that okay, we have a product, we've been constantly building on it, and now we need a little bit more funding to scale. And that is where he was like, okay, here is like a gap. We need some funding. He was connecting to some VCs and all, but I definitely understand that. especially with emerging markets, that kind of gap exists. In fact, we see that in India also a lot of times raising funding gets very difficult. So yeah, fingers crossed you'll get that bag. And moving on to my next question, and you've given me a lot of insight about the issues and everything, but I want to understand a little bit on the business side of things and the use cases side of things. Which sectors do you think are growing, or in terms of adoption of the stable coin, or use cases that might pop up, like you're connecting with a lot of businesses, I assume. So which one do you feel like are like really trying to get it? Because I know it's not live yet, the project is not live yet, but
Yes.
like which direction do you see that the ecosystem might expand in? Like, you right now you don't have concrete data, I know, but like what direction are you assuming right now?
Yeah. So one thing I should mention, or I should reinstate, is uh, we cater for both off-chain services and on-chain services, right? So when I say off-chain is talking about the regular Web2 platforms. Say you're building a cross-border payment service, and is basically a Web2 platform. There's no contracts or no blockchain incorporated to it whatsoever. Every of the settlements is done off chain. Yeah, we have APIs that handles that, right? So, example of products that can, uh, integrate our off-chain APIs. Like I said, a cross-border payments platform, a centralized exchange. Uh, you know, uh, Majorly projects around finance, right? Payments and finance. And talking about our on-chain Oracle, um, you're looking at lending and borrowing protocols, um, uh, uh, off-ramp services, on-ramp services. Um, if you perhaps are building a cross-border on-chain platform as well, where all your settlements will basically be on-chain, that as well. You know, as long as you're building something around finance that involves you getting the price information for assets on chain, off chain, we are the guy.
Perfect. I think that
Yeah.
wraps up all my questions. Thank you, Rami. This has been lovely. We absolutely adore the time you took out. And I know Rajat is missing. Rajat is way too busy with the launch today, so he
Mm,
couldn't make it
okay.
here. But I am grateful for your time. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
GMGM everyone, I have Quinn with me from Eth Vietnam today, and we will be discussing about how Eth Vietnam was. It just ended. So Quinn, what was your experience hosting it?
Hi, first of all, would like to thank you for having me today. Yeah, and then for If Vietnam, we just ended since the last Sunday. So we had 2 days for main event and 2 days for hackathon. And we focus on the topic on Web2 to Web3, Web3 adoption. So we also invite the Vietnam government, international financial center government, and also big enterprises and also Web3 builders from, community and also from protocol and foundation to join. So I think that's a good mix. And yeah, we had also like numbers of good projects for the hackathon.
That's amazing. So along with that, I would love to you also give a formal intro about yourself, like what do you do at Suci, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and how did you become the lead for Eth Vietnam?
Yeah, so for If Vietnam, we started since 2022. And with this, very simple mission that onboard builders on Ethereum ecosystem and also have more projects on ecosystem. So we just started with the, very simple idea like, hey, we have so many good builders here in Vietnam. We also have the good user, but we haven't got, events or community focus on building. At that time, most of the community focused on trading. And that's why we just started to do Vietnam. We are not the event company, but we are the ecosystem builder. So we just like do the event to, you know, bring everyone together. And we also expect that it's not the conference, but we mix with technology and culture. So also let the foreigner friends come to Vietnam, understand about the culture, even like understand about the history or mingle with the local builders. And at the same time, we also bring in like, you know, government officer enterprises. So everyone can, you know, understand the perspective from each other. And with that way, the builders also can build the better products from the, even like can solve the problem and help the government or even enterprises. And also the government also understand what the Web3 builders looking for and how they can support. And for Vietnam, also especially that like Vietnam government wants to put the blockchain become one of the, you know, priority of the country in the next 10 years. So that's why like, if Vietnam also play the critical roles that, you know, we, you know, bring builders and also like the government together, and also we have more builders and also more project on the ecosystem and make Vietnam become one of the blockchain hub in the region. So regarding myself, I'm just started to join, you know, crypto scene end of 2016, 2017. At that time, this like was curious about what is crypto, what is the UK's at that time, and how the world gonna change with, you know, with all of this. Until 2020, I just like, you know, left all the things and you know, work full time, and then started to build Suci blockchain hub and also build Eth Vietnam. And yeah, that's how we started.
So you're an OG, because we say whenever like someone has joined in back in 2017, you've seen so like 2016, 2017, so many cycles, and you've seen everything transpire from how it was back in the early days to now. And from that, I also want to understand my like next question is around community and how, like, I understand you have been in the space for a while, but in general, the Ethereum community in Vietnam, how are they? Like, are they more builders or retail users, or like they're more speculative users? How would you describe them, and how long they've been like? Since you also mentioned that the government has been super involved with it now, is it been a while that they've been involved, or is it like coming up and new?
So up to now, we have more than 10,000 members in the community for Eth Vietnam, and we mostly focus on builders, founders of the early stage project, and also like we also have the other positioning like in the local market, like, you know, user, but also like people working in Web3 projects. But mainly we focus more on builders. So that's why like, all the content of Eth Vietnam or the workshop that we do mainly focus for builders. We also have the incubation program, something like that. This like to support the builders become the founders of the project later on, and also create more impacts in the ecosystem. So for the regarding the government, to be honest, like for the last 5 years, not all the time that the government like open like this. From the beginning, remember that a lot of like even government officer, they're still very skeptical about blockchain and especially about crypto. And but recently they also like understand more, way much more about the use cases of blockchain, and they also learn from other, you know, government like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, Korea, Hong Kong, etc. So they also see that the potential of this market is so unique that, for example, if you go to Singapore, they just have, you know, capital, right? They don't have builder there. If you go to Philippines, you just have user, so many trader, but you don't have the builder also. And Vietnam, we have both. We have the builders and we also have the user, and also like very easy to access to, you know, like other source of capital in Asia like Hong Kong, Singapore, Korea, etc. That's why like, I think that the government also really see that the potential of this for Vietnam. And recently, they also put it like crypto is like legal in Vietnam since the 1st January of next year, 2026, become the digital asset. So it's not like, the whole time that the government that kind of open and support, but recently they super open and they move also super, super fast. So that is a really good hope for all of us, for the whole ecosystem in Vietnam. And we hope that, with this kind of regulation, we also have the sandbox in Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh City, and also like together with all the other protocol and foundation overseas come to Vietnam, and also builders and project and startup ecosystem in Vietnam, we can make it together, make Vietnam become one of the blockchain hub in the region.
That is super interesting to know.
Is it lagging or is this my network
Use case
slow?
that like they prefer? Like, are they very fond of DeFi, NFTs, or gaming? Uh, sorry, didn't get you.
Oh, I just think that like at some point the network is lag somehow.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll
yeah.
repeat my question. So, you mentioned that Vietnam has these builders and like these retail users as well. My question is also around, now that you have that mix, are they more inclined towards DeFi, NFTs, or gaming, or like what is it that people are practically using maximum on Ethereum right now in Vietnam?
Yeah, so actually, it's really changing from the different cycles from the last year, is like 7, 8 years. So, for example, I remember during 2016, 17, still a lot of like, ICO period time, right? So it's just like, there's this raising fund really easily and quickly at that time, even with this like white paper or the deck. And until 2020, 21, in Vietnam, a lot of GameFi projects. And I think that at that time, maybe like around 70% or 80% of the global GameFi project maybe come from Vietnam or Southeast Asia, and mostly from Vietnam. And but at the same time, a good thing is like one of that, RC Infinity also become the unicorn GameFi project is actually from Vietnam. And also during that time also have several like other good successful project working on DeFi, and also building on Ethereum, which is like Kyber. They also like building on Kyber Swap, right? And they build on Ethereum also. And for now also like still have more also like project on DeFi, on AI agent, on consumer apps, and also like started to at this time like also start to see more activities from many other protocol and foundation enter the market. For example, Base or List. So List, we also have the incubation program for the projects building on List layer 2 of Ethereum. Or we also have Base, also like have building the Base Vietnam community in Vietnam, and also like doing different activities for builders weekly, monthly. Um, and yeah, so for Base, I also focus on different mini apps, and also for builders they have also every month that actually we're building for Base. We call it like Base Build Day. So we invite all the builders can come to the co-working space in our hub, and we have the workshop. We also have the hack day, and people share what they're building on Base, and also like involve other builders to share their stories. Or for List, for example, also like we have the incubation program focused on consumer app, on payment, cross-border payment, on stablecoin, and more real asset project. Yeah.
Yep, that's very interesting to know. And as you mentioned, there are like so many other blockchain hubs also growing. So there's like an ecosystem is already like thriving. And do you like still feel there is some sort of support that local builders need specifically in Vietnam? Like I'll try to explain it better. Like for India, we often see that the GTM side of things is a little bit difficult for founders, and they often need support there. Is it like similar in Vietnam that they usually have like a certain pain point that keeps coming up and they need more support there?
Yeah, we also need more support in the country and also in the region. I think that, for example, definitely, for example, like we want to have more activities and more effort or support from Isum Foundation in Vietnam. Um, we feel that, like, even that we built Eth Vietnam community for the last years, we have done like so many workshops. We have done more than 300 workshops for builders. And also we do hackathons, we do meetup, we do e-Vietnam, but we need more support from Ethereum Foundation, put more map of the Ethereum Foundation in the country, especially that, we see that, for this market, there's so much of potential, but the support, the grant, the activities, even like, more Ethereum Foundation people, this come and do workshop and sharing, we still see that it's like all of that. What else? We also see that like the market also need grants for the early stage project for sure. So of course that, like different protocol and foundation also have different grant program. But we also want to see like, even is this like not grant for several one, but also like how we can also can contribute to more people, like even like for ambassador program, or they also can, we can using the local community that take the initiative to do the workshop by themselves, and also like can have the reward from their contribution. So I think that with kind of that support, we should have more, and with that way we can scale the community or the ecosystem even way much more bigger and faster.
That is good to know, and I do hope that the support keeps rolling in. I also want to understand if there's like more initiatives that are coming up or like more partnerships that you're trying to do to make sure that the support is like constant for the builders, or like to achieve the goal that you have right now.
Yeah, so right now we also do like different activities for builders. For example, we also have weekly workshop for builders. So they also can join online or offline in our hub. We bring in different mentors, different protocol to teach for builders. We also have the local developer to join to support, and our own team also have that route to do it for builders. We also have the activity to onboard the student who are the third year, fourth year students in Vietnam, and help them to become the Web3 builders. So the program is like basic like blockchain 101, even help them to go through like what is blockchain, what is cryptography, how to build the first smart contract or NFT or DApp explanation. So they also can easily learn and also enter the Web3 ecosystem. And then later on, they also can, like join the higher level of education for builders. So that's how we also like, onboard new builders, new student into the ecosystem. What we also hope that, instead of this only several community or several teams, maybe later on even the student or even the builder, they also take more initiative. They even can record more videos, they can help to translate more documents and share it more on social media or open source of that knowledge, so that like more and more people can approach. That's the way that we really want to look forward and see more and more. Sometimes it's not really like need to depend on the grant. I hope so, but we can find
I
the
really
ecosystem.
hope.
Sorry, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, please complete. I thought you stopped speaking. Yeah, sorry.
No worry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I really hope that you get the support, and if we can help in any way, would love to. I have like huge fans in Vietnam. In fact, we recently also did a podcast with Monad, and that was a similar, view that Vietnam community is super growing and like very active. The builders are super good, and same statements have been echoed by Rachit and a lot of other builders. So I'm really hoping good for Vietnam community, and like if we can help in any way, we can partner in any way, would love that. And I really am thankful for having you on the podcast. Thank you for taking out the time, and yes, thank you so much, and hope you have a good day.
All right. Thank you, YC. Thank you very much for having me.